The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
and so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
1, 2, 3, 4. As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. Liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe. Yes, it is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live this morning, this Tuesday morning, November number 7 in the year of our Lord 2017. Get out and vote if there is an election in your community this morning. New York City has got some important elections going on. Joe Kincannon is running in, I do not remember the Queens district. What is the number in Queens? I don't know. And Joe Kincannon is running against the de Blasio machine, the blusterous machine out there in New York City and Queens. I don't. He's been very active on Twitter, and there are some people who have been calling him out about trivial things. He would tweet about, needing a stop sign in a particular street or fixing sidewalks. And some people would make fun of him or call him out on his trivial stuff. That's exactly what your local council members are supposed to be concerned about. They're supposed to be concerned about your local community. They're not in statewide or national politics. It's ridiculous. Their jobs are not to try to get involved in what's going on in above them, outside of their community. That's just stupid. It's important. It's the little things. Yeah, fixing the broken sidewalks that you're paying your taxes to have fixed, fixing the roads, making sure that your neighbor his home isn't becoming dilapidated, that certain laws and regulations that help a community run smoothly are upheld, and that bad laws and regulations are removed and good ones are put in its place. That's what his job is going to be. It's not trivial to talk about sidewalks or stop signs. That's where you're supposed to be talking about this stuff, at the local community level. And that's what he's talking, because that's what he's running for. City councilman, local level. Good luck to. I've had Joe on the show a few times, and a bright man, conservative, and he's not doing this for pomp and pageantry. Believe me, he is doing this because he truly and honestly believes that he can make a true and honest difference in his community, which I do believe is the Queens neighborhood of New York City. So good luck to Joe. If you're out there in New York today, get out. New York City, get out and vote. Get out and vote. I don't care where you are. I mean, I know there are local elections. This is an off year election season. which means that there's nothing nationally running. It's I don't even think there's any governorships up today, is there? It's mostly a bunch of local stuff, which is very important because all politics is local. And in order to get in order to change the national scene, if you will, to help drain the swamp, it's very important that you act locally, and that you get the correct local representatives. Because if you don't, look at the tax. We'll get into the tax cut issue because there's a proposal in the tax proposal, the tax overhaul, that proposes to get rid of the deduction for your state and local income taxes on your Look, hey, if you want to live in California or New York or some other high tax state like Illinois is another one, and you keep electing those people that want to raise your taxes, well, that's up to you. That's your problem. Don't ask the rest of the country to subsidize. You know, we always hear the left talking about subsidizing the rich or subsidizing corporations or subsidizing these people who don't deserve to be subsidized, and yet they're asking for the entire nation to subsidize their high taxing of income in their state. Manchester, New Hampshire has got a choice this morning as well. They have a current mayor who's a good guy, Ted Gatzis. And his incumbent, he ran against this person 4 years ago. And she's still a tax. Do you realize that in 1 year, she wanted to raise property taxes in the city of Manchester, New Hampshire by over 4%. A 4% jump in 1 year. Yeah, she wanted... She wanted the city tax and benefits. She wanted a sales tax within the city. You can't do that, by the way, because the state doesn't have a sales tax. But she wanted to have a fee, a city fee for flying out of Manchester airport. She was a tax and spender. We also got going over. Have you heard of this? Speaking of spending stupidly, have you heard of this this new TV ad? This by Stayer, David Stayer, Stayer, whatever it is the billionaire Democrat operative. We'll get into that this morning as well. By the way, did anybody have trouble with their internet yesterday? Evidently, yesterday afternoon, if you were a subscriber to Comcast or Comcast Xfinity, you may have had some. I didn't really notice any here, but evidently, you could have had some trouble. Well, this morning, one of my computers, broadcast computers, it went back to the future. I don't know what this means. I have never seen it do this before. So it was really kind of weird because it flashes on my screen that my date and time is behind. Now, I thought it was supposed to automatically update, because of and it keeps up with the jumping forward and falling behind, that kind of crap, daylight savings time, standard time. It does that automatically. But this morning, for some reason, somehow, one of my broadcast computers had gone back to the future, and it went far back. It went back to January 7th. Yeah, today is November 7th, but it went back to January 7th. 1980. This computer was made back in 2006. There was no internet as we there was no internet definitely as we know it back in 1980. I mean, we were just coming on board with desktops, the Apple II and the TSR-80 Model 3. Remember those machines? Yeah, so I'm scratching my head because the time is only behind, by a few minutes. So I'm thinking, well, what's and it's not letting me go anywhere. I mean, I can't get to I got to fix this clock problem. It's never done this before. So I have no idea what's going on with this computer, but it's never done this before. It's not, you try to go online and it's not, and it keeps popping up your clock. Your date and time is behind. Your date and time is behind. I'm like, what? Fix it yourself. And then I pay attention. Well, it says it's only a couple of minutes behind. So I go into the clock and see what the hell's the problem, and then realize that the year is 1980, January 7th, 1980. I don't know why January 7th. I don't know why 1980. It's bizarre. But evidently Comcast, their Xfinity system, had an outage yesterday. Yesterday morning. I guess it was around, this is from TechCrunch has the I guess everything centers around TechCrunch and their time zone, around 10 a.m. Pacific, which puts it around 1 p.m. our time, Eastern time. The whole country runs on Eastern time, by the way. I don't care where you live. I'm sorry if you live in the Pacific time zone, you don't like that. Our capital is in D.C., which is in the Eastern time zone. Major studios, New York City, Eastern time. Now, if the capital was in the middle of the country, if it was in Central time zone, the country would be running on Central time. But it's not. It's running on Eastern time because that's where the capital is located. So these people out west, they think everything's around them. Yeah, I got some more sex star news. You're not going to believe some of this garbage. But around 1 p.m. our time, Eastern time yesterday, I guess there was an outage. We started seeing reports from people that suddenly the internet slowed. This is amazing. You know how vulnerable our internet system is? I mean, if major players go to this has happened before. When we had a crash in a system here I forget which company was that. Here in the north, everything that was based in the Northeast, and there was a lot because it was either traffic went through the Northeast corridor for the internet, or there were a lot of websites that are housed or based in their servers are here. Main servers are here in New England or the Northeast. It went down. Yeah, the internet was broken for like 18 hours. People we couldn't hear. Up here, there was issues getting onto Facebook and getting into people's mails for Google and Yahoo and other mail servers. It was an eye-awakening event. And if you didn't have a mirrored service or access to a mirrored, now Netflix was still up and running, by the way, because because they have multiple servers all over mirrored servers all over the place because they have to because of the bandwidth that's being eaten up with their service. And a lot of it isn't routed through the Northeast, but in Cisco systems had a problem. I didn't know that there were certain companies that actually ran the actual wiring of the internet until that day. It's not just internet service providers, but there are actual companies that actually have I don't know how they make money. I really don't. But they actually have the job of having there are servers somewhere that deal with the internet and the direction and the mail and the IP addresses and all that kind of stuff. That's how everything gets everywhere. And Cisco's systems in the north it controls the Northeast pretty much, and it went down. So yesterday, Xfinity service. So people who have Xfinity for an ISP all across the country probably had some issues. Now that I think about it, I did have some issues trying to log into my own website, rodeccles.net. There were some issues there. It's amazing when something happens like this, and the players are then, because you don't even think about it. They're always in the background. You don't think about Cisco. You don't think about Xfinity or Comcast or Time Warner or any other ISP provider or internet service provider or internet router system. You don't think of them until something happens and it goes down, and it just doesn't affect a few people. It affects millions, and then you realize just how vulnerable and fragile the system is. if one player goes down, it affects and disrupts millions. How easy it is to disrupt an entire nation by just taking down one or two companies' networks. Think about that. I mean, it's just and evidently, Comcast's Xfinity service went down because of a configuration problem. Configuration problem? Something was How do you misconfigure something? Well, I guess that's what happened to my old computer going back to 1980. Somehow it got misconfigured. It's the only explanation?
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And welcome back. Welcome back. Yes, indeed. You're listening to yours truly, me. Glad that you are here in the audience, wherever you might be. I just ask that you tell a friend or two, or tell an enemy too. Tell a political enemy. Yesterday I had people taking me to task for reporting on the Rand Paul issue. It was just his neighbor. As if leftist nut jobs can't be neighbors. Well, look, here's the deal. Here's the deal with that. People who are who claim to be Antifa members, they're somebody's neighbor. Black Lives Matter members, they're somebody's. We're all somebody's neighbor. What's being a neighbor? It was just a neighbor. What's being a neighbor got to do with this guy being whether or not he was a radical leftist nut job or not? The Texas shooter was somebody's David Patrick Kelly, whatever his freaking name is. I hate giving these people press time. He was somebody's neighbor. We're all somebody's neighbor. What does that have to do with anything? Nothing. Except it's a way for them to try to obfuscate the whole, and confligate the whole system and reason and facts of the case. This is ridiculous. just because he's a neighbor. The report, well, he's just somebody, he was just Rand Paul's neighbor. We don't know what the whole thing, yeah, we know what the whole thing was about. The guy has an issue with Rand Paul's politics, and the reports have come out that he's had numerous run-ins and issues with other neighbors, more conservative-leaning politics, because he's a liberal left-wing nut job. That's why. It was over something small. Well, that's even worse. You're going to break 5 of your neighbors' ribs over something small. Something insignificant. No, he was not just a neighbor. He was a left wing. Now, if this guy were a right wing zealot and he would have attacked a left wing sitting senator, the media would be all over it. He'd be, they'd be talking about how bad and how crazy and how out of touch right wingers are, and Republicans. They'd be all over. Oh, no. But he'd get a bunch of leftists and leftist sympathizers. And I'm seeing this more and more pop up on my social media accounts, like on the Rod Eccles Show on Facebook and in my Twitter account. Left-wing sympathizers. Now, they may not be left-wing themselves. This is something new, people. Pay attention to this. There is something, I'm labeling them. There is something out there called left-wing sympathizers. These tend to be people who are never Trumpers, actually. But it's not that they're just never Trumpers. Because they can dislike Trump all they want. But now they're starting to sympathize with those on the left. And starting to say that the stuff that Trump has done doesn't really matter. Now, see, it's one thing to dislike Trump and say that he needs to go and you don't like his policies. But it's another thing to actually start sympathizing with the left to such a degree that you will downplay President Trump's successes so far, and then even go so far as to compare them to President Obama and say Obama did better in this area. This guy's only been in office 9 months. Obama's been in office 8 years. We have an entire 2 terms to go over on Obama, and we know the last 2 years of Obama's administration did better than the first 9 months of Trump's administration. Really? That's not apples and apples. But this is what I'm getting. I'm getting these left-wing sympathizers. And it's blowing my mind. I've never seen, this is something else that's new. I've never seen anything like this before. So, well, yeah, he's just these are people that I know are not leftists, or say, well, he's just a neighbor. I mean, what? You're siding with the guy who just attacked a sitting senator and broke 5 of his ribs? The world is turning upside down, folks. I mean, again, it's kind of amazing how Hollywood does this kind of stuff. But Stranger Things, what's the whole thing about Stranger Things? There's a different dimension, and they call it the upside down because it seems to be upside down and backwards from the reality that we're in. This is the same thing that's happening in reality right now. It seems like everything's upside down and backwards. I've never seen right of center people actually sympathize with leftists. They're not turning into leftists, at least God, I hope not, but they're sympathizing with them. This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Break somebody's ribs, I guess, and as long as you're their neighbor, it's not a big deal. I'm even getting some people say, well, no, those 2 guys, they didn't stop the shooter from, the shooter already left. Yeah, they tracked him down and kept him from shooting anybody else. We don't know where he was going. We don't know what he was about to do. Seems like he was there for a mission to take out some people, and those people weren't there, so he's probably going to find them. But, yeah, hey, it was just, the killer killed himself, man. They didn't do anything. Good guys didn't stop a bad guy. Sympathizing with the left.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
Alrighty then. Welcome back. Let's get into some of the meat of today's program. And no. Pay attention to this, because all this stuff has stuff to do. Well, it's all integrated, I guess, is the best way to put it here. But let's start off. Well, first of all, we had the internet outage yesterday that affected a few million people. I mean, what's a few million people that can't get on the internet, right? No big deal. Just a few million people. I wonder if anybody, I haven't heard of anybody talking about Trump having his finger on the internet button. Well, no, isn't that what Obama wanted? He wanted a button to turn off the internet. I don't think they really need to actually have one. I think the internet is if you want to talk about a monopoly, I think the internet all over the world, it's not just here. It is monopolized in such a way where it's rather easily controlled. We like to think that it's not, but it is rather easy to control the internet. It really is. And I'm not talking about the individual companies or websites that do certain things, but if they're large enough, or if they're a government, they have access to areas that the rest of us do not on the internet, and they can shut it down. And I know there are people that talk about, well, there's a dark web, Rob. Everybody's in the dark web. I still don't know how to access the dark web. I don't even know what it is. I'm told as much as 80% of internet traffic is actually over the dark web. If it's that much, don't you think that somebody could be out there monitoring? Well, you can't monitor it, Rod. It's just a free system, man. No, if it's going over wires, the cables, somebody can tap into it and monitor it. I don't, they're using it's a network, Rod. It's a decentralized network. Oh, BS is decentralized. This stuff is happening on somebody's computer somewhere. It's not out there. The Ethernet is not a real place. It has to reside somewhere. You have these. Everybody calls it the cloud nowadays. Remember that cloud servers and cloud. Well, it's not out there in Neverland. It has to reside somewhere. And so if it resides somewhere, our governments all across the world they do get into this stuff. If you think that the dark web is so secretive and cannot be followed, you better think again. Because if you can get into the dark web, then so can other people in government. It's not like, the dark web, the government is such a secret, the government doesn't know about the dark web. Really? Are you that asinine to believe that? But look, I don't know. I don't know how to access it. I'm not a computer geek or computer nerd enough. I realize, people from sure, it might be harder to track things, and people. If you know what you're doing, you can make it harder for people to track you online. You can flip your IP address or bounce your signal off of multiple servers all over the planet. There are people that know how to do that. I don't. But understand. You leave a trail. And no matter how good you are, you're always going to leave a crumb that somebody who's just as smart or smarter than you will pick up and say, aha, we've got you. And you can make it very difficult, but not impossible. Because signals on wires leave trails. No matter what you do, they leave a trail. And there is no perfect hiding system. Again, I wouldn't even know where to begin on how to do that stuff. I mean, you see these people coding. I remember before we had the WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get type of drag and drop stuff for creating websites and blogs and that kind of stuff. I remember when you actually had to code this stuff. And I remember there were some people, the company I was working for, these guys they could see the entire page in their head while they're coding. I'm looking at this code thinking, what the hell? How do you know what you're looking at? It's kind of like, it was like the Matrix. You see the Matrix, all the numbers flying around, and they see all this stuff, and all you can see is just numbers and letters and figures and shapes. That's what I saw. They point out certain code to me, and they look at this. Like, okay, I see a bunch of jumbled stuff. And no, this is the frame, and we just put a shadow on the frame. Okay. And then they'd switch it over. No, here's what it looks like. And they'd flip it over to what we would normally see. And sure enough, there was a frame with a shadow on the frame. How do you see that? My brain doesn't operate that way. And most of our brains don't operate that way. Well, that's fine. But there are people who do. So if you think you cannot be tracked, you got to know. I mean, there's always somebody out there who's smarter, faster, brighter, whatever, than you are. And they will catch up with you if they want to. May take them a while, but unless you're moving around like an international spy, they will catch you. Even if you're using the dark web. And I think a lot of people, we understand that there are a lot of people like these, evidently Anonymous thinks that they're anonymous. Well, evidently not. I had a story here about somewhere, before I went in hiatus too, about, if I can go back, about some anonymous members being caught and arrested. In Europe and Asia and here. So if you think you're anonymous, you're not. It's an old story. I mean, you could go and find it, but evidently they've caught some anonymous people that thought that they were anonymous. Just saying. They can track this stuff. The great litless eye is upon us. No, that's a term from Lord of the Rings, by the way. If you got a large enough company, you can control certain aspects of the internet without people getting in your way, so to speak. But that also creates another problem. iHeartMedia. Everybody knows iHeartMedia. iHeartMedia is in trouble, I guess. They've lost money 28 out of the last 29 months or quarters or something like that. To bring up the my San Antonio, sanantonio.com. San Antonio, they've lost money in the last 28 of the past 29 quarters, which is worse than 28 out of 29 months. In other words, iHeartMedia and iHeartRadio hasn't made any money, a profit, in a long time. And now that they're on bankruptcy watch. Well, now understand something. iHeartMedia owns a lot of radio stations. They acquired a lot of radio stations, and the reason why they're in trouble is because they've while acquiring all those individual stations all across the country, they've acquired an awful lot of debt. And their debt load is something in the range of nearly over $20 billion. And they've been trying to get out from, you can't get out from under it if you actually spend it. It's beyond me how this happens. I understand how it happens, but it is beyond me how business people make the same mistakes over and looking at business history. They go ahead and make the same mistakes over and they overextend themselves. They gather you're never supposed to have too much debt. Doesn't matter if you're a business or an individual. You know it's going to crush you at some point. But people always think that they're smarter, that they're better, and they can handle it and manage it. And then before you know it, a company is gone. I mean, they're just the idiocy behind this guy. Nobody wants to. Everybody talks about the future. Everybody talks about how technology is moving us forward. How technology is decentralizing stuff. We don't have the big three or big four TV networks anymore. We've got multiple networks. We've got A tier, B tier, and C tier networks now. You've got networks that don't go over the air, but they're full-fledged TV networks, and they're just over the internet. The same thing. It's even worse with radio. And yet iHeartRadio went ahead and started buying up stations all over the place, thinking that they were going to corner the market on the over-the-air radio market, when the over-the-air radio market is actually dying. Because people don't have to listen to. You can, in the summertime, I know around here in the summertime, you listen to people that are listening to the radios in their car. Half the people are not listening to over-the-air radio. They're listening to their iPod or other device that's plugged into their radio, their car system. Or they're listening to satellite radio or something else. And now you're starting to get cars that are able to that have built into them. They have these systems which allow you to tap into your cell phone, your cell signal, and listen to online radio stations. And a lot of this stuff is real. I know it's $9.99 a month, but a lot of this stuff is cheap or free. And yet these jackasses at iHeartRadio went ahead and spent billions of dollars buying up radio stations in an old model, using an old business model, and now they're scratching their head wondering why they're $20 billion in debt and can't make enough money to pay off the debt. I mean, this is. Well, look, this is old school stuff. Same thing with government, folks. You've got government in D.C. right now that is still old school, trying to do things the old-fashioned way, the slow. Hey, McConnell, the president doesn't understand it takes time to do stuff like that. It doesn't take any time anymore. It used to take time. It used to take months and months because you had to communicate with the people, and there wasn't a lot of instant communication. Nowadays, Mitch McConnell says something, and people know what he said 30 seconds before he said it, all over the country. It doesn't take long anymore. They're trying to run a government using an old model, just like you have businesses trying to run their business using an old model. We're going to get left behind. And understand, this is why they want to be able to control things, folks. Because they can't keep up, or they refuse to keep up. They want to drag us back into the 20th century. Isn't that something to say? It used to be, we used to say you want to, drag us back to the Stone Age. No, nowadays it's not. They don't want to drag us back to the Stone Age. It'd just be enough for them to drag us back to the 20th century. Because yes, folks, we are deep into the 21st century. We're 17 years into this thing now. Did you realize that? We've almost completed 2 freaking decades into this new century, new millennium. And what we have is a bunch of people in business and in politics that have been busy slowing us down, putting the brakes. You think that things have been moving fast? Oh, they're not moving as nearly as fast as they could have been or should have been. I mean, we've got government people and certain business people that put the brakes on stuff because they don't want to deal with the new stuff. mean, everybody's looking at flying cars now as like the wonder thing. Do you know we had operating flying car models in the 1980s under Ronald Reagan? We had governments all over the planet see this and say, "Oh no, we're not going to have this," and they put the brakes on it. Literally, they stopped the progress of technology. It's kind of like people getting into this Bitcoin thing. Oh, Bitcoin's going to be awesome. Do you realize that there is country after country that is putting over-regulation on Bitcoin or making it completely illegal? People forget government is more powerful than they are, especially in this day and age. They can come up with something and government can just say, no, we don't think so. We'll put the brakes on it. Now, eventually it's going to come through. Eventually we're going to get electronic currency. Eventually we're going to get non-governmental issued electronic currency. But right now everybody's fighting it. They're putting the brakes on it, and it's going nowhere. And there are some people that just don't, they want to operate under an old model. And the old models are falling apart, just like the way the old internet is, the way it's designed now. It is going to have to change, and people are realizing this, because if you take down a major player like Comcast or Cisco, it disrupts everything. And that means government, that means security, that means business. Billions, if not trillions of dollars can be lost in a day because one major company using an old model refuses to change and modernize. And people are getting tired of it.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
As far as the radio and internet is concerned, there are a lot of people that are starting to understand the limitations of such a. Well, it's just like our electric grid. What people are starting to do, a lot of businesses are doing this too. What they're starting to do is have their own network, as it were. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean they're actually bringing in-house stuff that used to go outside. Now, sure, you got all these bloggers and everything that put up their web, like myself included, that put their website up on somebody else's server and pay somebody, $3 to $30 a month to host their website or more. Well, there are people, individuals, as well as companies that are saying, look, we need to have more control over this stuff. And they're starting to bring it in-house. So look, I'm looking to bring as much as I possibly can in-house over 2018 myself. It means, self-hosting the program. Sure, you can't do 100%. I mean, obviously I have to get a phone number and, have phone systems and things, use a phone company, wherever that phone company is, got to use that kind of stuff. Yes. But does it mean that I'll be able to cut out the middleman like Spreaker and still be able to get my message out, and probably even better and more without being because right now, let's face it, folks, I know it. I know I'm being censored on Spreaker. I know I'm being censored on Facebook. I'm being censored on Twitter, but I know I'm being censored on Spreaker. So if I can eliminate them. And that means I'm not. Am I gonna censor myself? No. I mean, if you're out there, if you're gonna Google me, I guess Google can still censor me in a way, but otherwise, no, I can't be censored that way. Yeah, look, I know. See, I know Spreaker listens. They have people listen to all the different programs. Look, and if you're listening to this episode, Spreaker representative, I know you people are censoring me because I know you're liberal. You don't like what I have to say half the time, and it's fine, except to say that, well, yeah, it's their platform, but I'm paying for it. It'd be one thing if I was getting a free platform, like on Facebook. We don't pay for Facebook. But I'm paying for this. And yet they still have the nerve to censor something that they don't like. I got your number. That was the same with Blog Talk Radio, but Blog Talk Radio got really bad, which is why I really had to leave there. But in any case, the censor. I don't have time to go into this. Yesterday, my highly paid, unpaid intern, I used to call him, was here, and we talked about some of this stuff. And he remembers the Blog Talk days and how bad it was getting over there. Yeah, it was amazing, which is why we don't broadcast over there anymore. Some people still do, and it's fine. But I won't. Hang around. We got more coming up, folks.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as Unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of french fries and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Here it is, hour number 2 here on the Rod Eccles Show on this November number 7 in the year of our Lord 2017. Yes, indeed. It is Tuesday. It is election day in many communities across the country as people will head out to the polls on this off election year. It is 2017, which means that it's now next year is a midterm or off year. So 2018. So that's a midterm. But today's but this year 2017, just as 2019 will be an off year. Because it can't be a midterm, but that just sounds stupid. So it's an off year election. Meaning that in most places, I like I said the last hour, I did not check, and I meant to do that during the break, but I don't think there are any actual governorships up for. I mean, there could. I don't know where, if there are. But right, it's mostly local stuff this year, and that means that even for state representation is probably not up this year, and so it's probably at county level or lower in most places. So, if you live in a municipality or area where there's an election today, you should have already known who the candidates are and what the issues are, so you can get out there and vote. This is part of your civic duty. Know the issues and get out there and vote. Here in New Hampshire, there is a big election as far as local election is concerned. In the city of Manchester. Now, obviously, I can't vote. I'm not a Democrat, so I can't vote there because I don't live there. But that's a big. Manchester is our biggest city. It's got 130,000 people. I know for some people say that's a city. That's not a city. That's a small town. Well, Manchester, New Hampshire is our largest city. It's got about 120 to 130,000 people. Yes, and it's called a city. We've even got like 2 or 3, mini skyscrapers in the city of Manchester in New Hampshire. Yeah, the state's three tallest buildings are located in Manchester. So yeah, we've got and believe it or not, these are office towers. They're skyscrapers. They're like 18, 20 stories high. And believe it or not, once you get past those three buildings, the next tallest buildings in the state happen to be, I do believe, they're church steeples. This is the state I live in, this state I love. Where the tallest buildings in the state happen to be churches, which is good. There's nothing bad about it. But Manchester is a city where they are going to be electing a new mayor and some city aldermen or in most other communities they call them councilmen, but here in New Hampshire they're often called aldermen. So there's a lot going on. New York City has their city council elections that are going on today. Joe Kincannon is running. I think it's Queens that he's in. Is his district, his borough. So get out there and vote. He's a conservative, and he's anti-de Blasio. For those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Real Linda. So get out there in your community. If you have an election, get out there and vote. It's going to make a difference. One way or the other, it'll make a difference because all politics are local, and you must start locally and affect change locally if you expect it to go county, state, nationally. You got to start locally. And I always encourage people to learn the candidates, learn about the issues, learn about where you stand on the issues, figure out where you stand on the issues, and then go express that in your vote. Hey, even if if you totally disagree with me, that's fine. That's what the whole voting system is public discourse and self-governance. You're telling other people this is where you stand, and if you stand, whatever issue you vote for. I mean, if you stand for issue A and not issue B, you go vote for issue A, and you stand with others who stand with issue A, and you try to affect issue A into becoming reality in your community. That's the whole purpose. Get out there and vote, people. No, but before you do, just don't go vote blindly. Don't go willy-nilly. Understand what you're voting for. And understand and know the truth. Don't fall for falsehoods, lies, misrepresentations, and that kind of. It's easy to do. Was it last night? Was it Sunday night or last night? One of the two nights. I'm sitting there in front of the boob tube. It's late at night, and all of a sudden, my mouth drops. Why? Because there's this guy, Tom Steyer, a billionaire businessman, philanthropist, Democrat operative, liberal operative, is on my TV screen, pitching to have Donald J. Trump to be impeached. Now understand, you don't impeach somebody simply because you get enough signatures on a petition. That's not the way impeachment works. Hey, let's have a petition, and we're gonna force Congress to impeach the president because we don't like him and because we all signed a petition. That's not how it works. Sorry. That's not the way the system works. That's not the way it was intended. That's not the way it should. That's not the way it's gonna work. Well, I shouldn't say gonna, because they could change it at any time on us, and we wouldn't be any the wiser or say anything against it. But he's got this ad out there. He's spending over $10 million of his own money, evidently. Well, hey, he's got it. He's worth billions. But pushing for, join us. I think it's joinus.org or joinus. I don't know. Join this. So by the way, he lives out in California, San Francisco, so that should tell you everything you need to know. But he's a hedge fund manager an environmentalist, and he's a progressive activist. He's a liberal Democrat donor and activist. How does one how does one get to manage it? I want to manage a hedge fund. All these guys make billions of dollars, managing these hedge. I want to do that. Anybody want to join me? I want to start a hedge fund. What's it take? I don't know what it takes. I know you got to go through some rigmarole, probably with the Security and Exchange Commission and the stock market and all that kind of stuff. But anybody out there want to start a hedge fund? I'm serious as a heart attack. I'm sick and tired of hearing about all these liberal nut jobs out there that go make hundreds of millions, billions of dollars off of good, honest, hardworking people like you and me, and then turn around and use that money against us. I think it's time we flipped it on them. But I'd be very interested in figuring out how to start a hedge fund and start doing that kind of crap myself. Seriously. Every time I turn around at some billionaire hedge fund, remember when hedge fund people were hated? They were loathed? And come to find out, many of them are actually liberal. So they're being hypocritical. Again. You can't have these hedge fund people making all that money. Some of it's illegal and just illegal and unfair, and half of them are liberal. How hypocritical can you be? Well, Tom Steyer, Steyer, if you have it, well, here I've got the audio clip of this ad. It's a 60-second ad. Just pay attention to this, folks. Listen to the misleading stuff in this ad. I mean, it's full of lies and half truths that it's redonkulous. But here is Tom Steyer himself pitching. Listen to this pitch.
He's brought us to the brink of nuclear war, obstructed justice at the FBI, and in direct violation of the Constitution.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I have to stop it right there. He brought us to the brink of nuclear... With who? The brink of nuclear war. When and with who? North Korea? Yeah, North Korea probably has a nuke, but they still couldn't hit the broadside of a barn yet. The brink of nuclear... Are we just supposed to let, little dictator, fat little Pol Pot dictators like Kim Jong-il get along, get away with whatever he's doing? Whatever he wants to do? And what was unconstitutional that he's done so far? Oh, he said he'd like to possibly shut down fake news. Oh, there are a lot of us that like to do that. But he hasn't tried to do it. It's not unconstitutional to say, well, I don't like it. I don't like fake news. We should do. People are talking about, talk about every day getting rid of fake news. We need to get rid of it, Rod. We need to get rid of fake news. Are you part of fake news? You can't have fake news. We got to get rid of fake news. Fake news should be illegal, should be, against the law. Nobody does. Nobody's doing anything about that, though. You can say anything you damn well please. The problem is when you start to actually act upon what you say, it could be a trouble. But Trump hasn't even begun to act on other than countering fake news with what he believes is the truth. I guess that's unconstitutional in Tom Steyer's world. You can't attack the left. You can't challenge the left on their. It's just ridiculous. So we've been brought to the brink of. I don't know. I don't know. I think we were on the brink of war with JFK. A lot worse than we are with Trump. Reagan. A lot more than we. Look, I being a military brat, I know when we were on heading towards nuclear war with the DEFCON levels. And how would I know as a kid? Because my father would disappear for days on end sometimes. which means he was on constant duty. Why? Because we were on alert, and it could happen at any moment. That's why. That's how you knew. I can't tell you how many times we've gone to, to DEFCON levels that would make the average everyday person shudder in their boots. DEFCON is defensive condition. Right, 1 through 5. 5 is all out war. But this guy thinks that Trump is, let's finish listening to this.
He's brought us to the brink of nuclear war, obstructed justice at the FBI, and in direct violation of the Constitution, he's taken money from foreign governments and threatened to shut down news organizations that report the truth. If that isn't a case for impeaching and removing a dangerous president, then what has our government become? I'm Tom Steyer, and like you, I'm a citizen who knows it's up to us to do something. It's why I'm funding this effort to raise our voices together and demand that elected officials take a stand on impeachment. A Republican Congress once impeached a president for far less. Yet today, people in Congress and his own administration know that this president is a clear and present danger, who's mentally unstable and armed with nuclear weapons. And they do nothing. Join us and tell your member of Congress that they have a moral responsibility to stop doing what's political and start doing what's right. Our country depends on it.
We'll take this apart when we get back, folks. This is just ridiculous.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
Okay, let's go over this line by line, point by point, shall we, with this Tom Steyer stupidity that he's spending $10 million of his own money to fund, to air in, what is it? I think it's Indiana or Illinois. And why New Hampshire and Indiana? Why? What the hell are we going to do here in New Hampshire? We're a small state. And the election is, primaries and stuff is at least 2.5 years away. So hey, if he wants to spend his money here, that's fine, I suppose. But let's delve into this. This first line here.
He's brought us to the brink of nuclear war.
Now, I've already gone over it. Brink of nuclear. With whom? Kim Jong. Are you kidding? Look, Donald Trump didn't give Kim Jong-un nuclear weapons. That was Barack Obama. We wouldn't be close to nuclear war with Kim Jong-un or Kim Jong-il or the Ayatollahs of Iran if it weren't for Barack Obama giving these people nuclear technology, which gave them nuclear weapons. It's not Donald Trump who brought us to the brink. It was Barack Obama. Let's be real.
Obstructed justice at the FBI.
Does this guy not realize that the FBI director works for the president? Everybody in the executive branch part of the government works for the president. The president is the CEO of the executive branch. He can hire and fire whoever he damn well pleases. And he doesn't need Congress's permission. Oh, sure, for certain cabinet secretary level positions, they have to give approval. But when it comes to firing them, he doesn't need to get approval from Congress. I mean, the president could walk into any department and any government agency that's part of the executive branch today and say, "You're fired, get the hell out of here." And there's nothing, because they do not control the executive branch. That's the constitutional way of doing things. And if he wants to get rid of the FBI director, that's not obstruction of justice. The FBI director was incompetent. Hell, Democrats, before Trump was elected, were talking about firing Comey. Everybody was talking about firing Comey. So this guy actually does it, and all of a sudden he's obstructing justice?
And in direct violation of the Constitution, he's taken money from foreign governments and threatened to shut down news organizations that report the truth.
So I guess doing business at all with a foreign country is against it. That's not the emolument clause in the Constitution. It's not what it means. And as far as we know, it isn't Trump that is actually directly taking any money from foreign governments or foreign agents. It was Hillary Clinton. So you see how this guy's twisting the truth? He's kind of he's saying it's Trump's fault, but so far everything that is in this stupid ad is actually somebody that he supported's fault. They actually did the deeds. This kind of stuff just drives you nuts. And preventing them from printing and telling the truth in the press? Are you kidding me? We've already shown and proven on a daily basis how the mainstream media lies and does not report the truth. And they knowingly lie about, hey, this is nothing new. Remember when 2020 did the expo? Probably most people don't remember this. But 2020 back in the 80s did an expose on, I think, that stupid Hyundai SUV. I forget what it was called. You looked at it and you thought any guy that drove that had to be gay because it was a little girl's SUV type of thing. And they did this expose on how these things flip too easily, and come to find out that they manufactured all of that stuff. Sure, they had a higher center of gravity, and they tended to flip easier than other SUVs, but not nearly the way that 2020 was reporting. Because they had changed they'd made the thing more capable of tipping in order to make their point. That was fake news. And 60 Minutes has been caught doing that numerous times. I mean, at NBC News, I mean, we've lost a couple of major news anchors have been fired over fake news. And you want to say that Trump is mad because, the Suzuki Samurai, same thing as a Hyundai as far as I'm concerned. You want to say that this, well, hey, until whatever the press says, I guess the mainstream media, that's the truth until they say otherwise, even when they know it's a lie. I shouldn't probably diss Hyundais that bad. They've come a long way, by the way. I still wouldn't buy one, but we're not done with this yet. When we get back, we're going to finish this off.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye. I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late, we stay informed, we invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Call Rod now, 660-335-3226. Welcome back. We were just having a quick discussion about, well, let's see, not the Suzuki Samurai, but the Yugo. Anybody remember the Yugo? The car that was made in the former Yugoslavia. Yeah, that little tiny. The funniest, it was such a tiny car, and well, it was poorly built. I mean, there people had gotten in accidents in the 80s. They were seat belted in, but the bolts broke in a car accident. People and their seat went through windshields of some of these these little. Well, I think they got great gas mileage back in the day. For back in the day, it was they sipped gas, but you could fit 4 people. But the funny thing is that usually they were cheap cars. I mean, they were really cheap. And usually if you went wherever you saw a Yugo, it was usually a low rider. Now, why was it a low rider? Not because the suspensions were tuned to be low. It's because there was usually somebody weighing 300 pounds driving it, and another person 300 pounds sitting in the passenger seat, and 600 more pounds of people, usually in the form of 2 people, because you couldn't fit more than 2 in the back seat. So this little car was probably driving around nearly a ton of human beings, because it was always, at least when I grew up, where I lived in New York State at the time, it was always obese people driving these little Yugos. It's not all that uncommon today to see the same thing here in this country. You see a big person get out of a tiny car and you wonder, man, the suspension must be straining. I'm not talking about little people. I'm not talking about people slightly overweight either. I'm talking about obese people that weigh 300 pounds plus getting out of the smallest possible car. And they're not like 7-foot giants in basketball. They're not like Shaq either. And these people are average height, and they're just wide. They're not tall. But Yugo has, I guess, well, it went belly up in the first decade of this new century, I guess. I think that the whole because they stopped being sold here in around the early 90s. I think was it. You can still find one on Craigslist or some of these cars. It's just like it's rare, but they're out there. It's kind of like remember the Ford Pinto? Yeah, and the AMC Pacer. Death traps. Well, that was Yugo was a death trap too, but death trap on wheels. But you can still find there was a lime green Pinto. Somebody painted a Pinto lime green running. I don't know who would do that, but they did it. Running around in Lowell, Massachusetts for the longest time. I don't know if it still is, but yeah, you can still find a Pinto. You can still find an AMC Pacer every once in a while on Craigslist or one of these auto places if you want to. If you want to, If you want a little bit of automotive history, you can still get it. And you can get, evidently you can still get parts readily available, because they made the Yugo up until the 2000s. They didn't call it the Yugo, but at that point, but it was still the same model, based on a Fiat. Now we got the Fiat things here, because Fiat bought Chrysler, right? So fix it again, Tony, is what Fiat is known for. So now we've got all these Fiat. People are driving little Fiats. The same damn thing as a Yugo, as far as I'm concerned. You ain't getting me in one of those little things. But if you want a tiny car, go ahead. You're not saving the planet, by the way. It's about as bad as people going, buying those stupid Priuses and was it Nissan Leafs? Anybody see a Leaf on the highway? I haven't. I haven't even seen the new Volt on the highway. Oh no, I take it back. I've seen a new Volt a couple of times. They're a nice looking car. Sometimes, actually, the reality is when it comes to the Chevy Volt, you may have seen it and thought it was a different regular gas guzzling kind of car. Because the styling of it is really kind of nice. They don't look like a Prius or any other kind of those electric little cars. They look like a regular car. So kind of like a Tesla. But Teslas, I've seen Teslas. There are a lot of. It's hard to believe there's a lot of Teslas on the road here, and a lot of them have Maine license plates on them. Now, I don't know what people do. Maine is not a very wealthy state. I don't know what people are doing to afford in Maine in order to afford a Tesla motor car, because they're not cheap. But they're beautiful machinery. They're a beautiful car, and they look like an exotic car. You can pick out a Tesla. You may think it's like a Maserati or something, and then you'll see the logo, the emblem, the badge, and know it's a Tesla. But they stand out. They're a good-looking car. They don't look like anything else electric running around. And that's the same with the Volt. Chevy Volt does not look like your typical electric vehicle. So it's possible I have seen more of them than I thought I've seen. But they look like a regular car, so you don't think twice about it. That's fine. But you're not saving the planet by buying these things and driving them, by the way. You're not. And we've gone over this before. But in any case, let's finish this impeach Trump expose about why this guy is it looks. I'm not saying it is a Maserati. By the way, the Tesla supercar actually still outpaces a Maserati. I'm just saying. I mean, look, I'm not a huge fan of the Tesla thing. I'd buy one if they were more affordable and they were, more readily available. But the supercar, that $250,000 electric car that does 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds or something, it's all electric. It kind of outdoes the Maserati. I mean, the Maserati is a beautiful car, it is. But the Tesla, the regular Teslas, the Model 2 and 3, they're more on a when I say Maserati, they're more of they look more like a supercar. The regular supercar, like a Porsche or a Maserati or a Bugatti, not one of the not a Lamborghini supercar, but the supercars. Yeah, it looks more like those. Now the first Tesla, the super sports car Tesla, yeah, that's more in the Lamborghini realm. But if you like a Tesla, fine. I'm not gonna. Like I said, it's a beautiful machine. And if you want to buy one and have one, it's a cool idea. It really, and they go, 200-300 miles or more on a charge. That's a decent car. But you're not saving the planet. Don't think you are by driving one of those things. You're not. I'd buy one just because I think they look good, but they're too expensive. I'm not spending $50,000, $60,000 on any car. I don't care what it is. Hey, yeah. Well, if somebody were to offer me a Lamborghini Countach or a Diablo for $50 or $60 grand, and it was still in pristine condition, oh yeah, I'd find the 60 grand right away. That's a little different story. Anyway, let's get back to this Impeach Trump by Tom Steyer. We'll start at the beginning and let it go.
He's brought us to the brink of nuclear war, obstructed justice at the FBI, and in direct violation of the Constitution, he's taken money from foreign governments and threatened to shut down news organizations that report the truth. If that isn't a case for impeaching and removing a dangerous president, then what has our government become?
Our government has become a swamp gas. This guy he's only dangerous to the left in those who would like to enslave the rest of the planet. That's who Trump's dangerous to. He's dangerous to people like Steyer, who want to control you, who want to control your lives and run your lives. That's who Trump is dangerous to. He's not dangerous to people who want to be free, who want a more constitutional government. He's not dangerous to them. He's only dangerous to people who want a less constitutional government. Now remember, everything that they're accusing Trump of, that Steyer is accusing Trump of so far in this ad, is actually what Obama and or Hillary Clinton and or Bill Clinton did. Those are the facts. That is not even arguable. Notice how he steered clear of the... he didn't really fully steer clear of the collusion thing, but he steered clear of it a little bit. Why? Because it's Hillary and Bill and Obama and the Democratic National Committee that did the collusion, not Donald J. Trump. I always said, when the left screams that you're doing something, it's because they're the ones doing it and they're trying to cover their tracks. They're trying to distract you from seeing and looking at what they're actually doing. They paid for the... Now, understand that collusion is not in and of itself illegal. It's not. And by the way, who took foreign money? Bill Clinton took foreign money. Remember Charlie Tree, anybody? Bill Clinton took foreign government money. Hillary Clinton took foreign government money and laundered it through the so-called Clinton Family Foundation. We know this. Yet Steyer is trying to point the finger at Trump and all that. This is just ridiculous. It continues.
I'm Tom Steyer, and like you, I'm a citizen who knows it's up to us to do something. It's why
We did something. We elected Trump.
Funding this effort to raise our voices together and demand that elected officials take a stand on impeachment. A Republican Congress once impeached a president for far less.
No, what Clinton did was not far less. So far, Trump has not been proven or shown, or there's no evidence that shows that he's ever committed a crime. President Bill Clinton committed a felony on the stand. He lied under oath on the stand. That's people have gone to Martha Stewart. Anybody went to jail? People have gone to jail for that. I mean, seriously. And Steyer thinks that what Bill Clinton did, actually breaking the law, is less than what Donald Trump did, not breaking the law. I mean, seriously. This is what these people try to make you think that they believe. Trust me, folks. Most of them who are not just total wackadoodle nut jobs, and Tom Steyer is not a wackadoodle nut job. He's a left-wing nut job, but he's not a wackadoodle nut job. He's not a moonbat. He runs a hedge fund. He can't be a moonbat. He's got to know what the hell he's doing a little bit. He's got to be a little bit cognizant. This guy knows exactly what he's saying and doing. He knows how to dance around and mislead people in this ad. This is all purposeful. The language in how it is stated, it is all purposeful. They know exactly what they're doing here, folks. They know they're skirting on the edge of a knife on this one. But I'll give it to them. They've done it beautifully. He continued.
Yet today, people in Congress and his own administration know that this president is a clear and present danger, who's mentally unstable and armed with nuclear weapons.
Every president is armed with nuclear weapons since the nuclear weapon was developed and put in our arsenal. This is going back to the old playbook. Oh, remember Reagan? Reagan's going to have the nuclear football, man. This is going to be terrible. Did we get in a nuclear war with Reagan? No, we didn't get in a nuclear war with Reagan. Oh, Bush 2, Bush 43. He's going to have his finger on the nuclear weapon. He's going to have the nuclear football, man. It's irrelevant. The president just cannot decide to wake up one day and decide to nuke a country. That's not the way that works either. This is what they want to make you think. That's not the way it works. Let's finish
and
it
they
up.
do nothing. Join us and tell your member of Congress that they have a moral responsibility to stop doing what's political and start doing what's right. Our country depends on it.
Yeah, they really do need to do what's right. They need to start acting on Trump's agenda and start passing some of it, because some of his agenda is right and accurate and is what the American people want. That's what they need to do. See, I told... well, yeah, there you go. That's the Trump stuff, anti-Trump stuff for you.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people. You suck.
So, do you think anybody else out there is going to take apart Tom Stayer's little 1-minute ditty against Donald Trump like I just did? No. Nobody else is going to do that. None of the big guys, none of the little guys. They're not interested. They think it's beneath them. Let me tell you something. These are the people that are the most dangerous in this country. They have the money, they have the influence, and they have the means. And they have the will. Now, sure, some of them are now out of the loop because they're being accused of, sexual impropriety. Isn't it funny how by the way, how is it that Weinstein and Spacey and all the others can't get away with what Bill Clinton got away with? I'm being serious as a heart attack here. Well, I mean, yeah, they got away with it for years and years, but all of a sudden they stopped getting away with it. Why? All of a sudden they were called out. Why? Bill Clinton still hasn't been called out. Bill Clinton hasn't been chased out of the country. Well, I say that because now Kevin Spacey has entered sexual rehab at the same place that Harvey Weinstein is currently receiving. How the hell do you get it? What is the treatment for sexual addiction? What is the treatment for? What is Kevin Spacey going there for? For treatment for pedophilia? So he's in a pedophile or doesn't want to be a pedophile? I don't know what he's going for sexual addiction treatment for. Well, he's just decided to come out and say, well, yeah, I'm going to live my life as a gay man now. He said it. But is he getting treatment to be cured for his homosexuality? I don't know. I don't know how you treat sexual addiction. What is that? Usually in an addiction, you can't engage in that. You're addicted to alcohol or drugs. You can't engage in those things anymore. But people are still able to engage in sex, even if it's just sex with oneself, but they still do. So is it really an addiction? I don't get what you get a gambling addiction, you can't gamble anymore. You go to treatment for it, whatever the treatment is, and you don't get cured. You're just taught how to control it, like without taking a drug or a pill. But you can't engage in. If you're a gambling addict, you can't gamble anymore. You're done. If you're an alcoholic, you're addicted to alcohol. You can't drink alcohol anymore. But when it comes to sex addicts, they go to treatment and they can come back and they can have sex like a normal person instead of. I don't even know what is sex addiction. They always want it. Well, I just think most people would call that a healthy libido. But yeah, most people don't run around, doing what these people have done to other people. Besides, you don't even, especially today with the internet, you don't even need to. It's easy to find somebody to hook up with, from what I understand. There's a plethora of websites where you just, you I don't know, will you finger it left or right? I don't know even know how you swipe left if you like and right if you don't, or is it right if you like and I don't know. But there's a ton of these things. There's Tinder, Grindr, Bringer, Bender, Binder, whatever. There's a ton. If you want to hook up and get your rocks off, male or female, it doesn't matter. There's a ton of sites out there now. I mean, hell, even if you're married, what was it site? There's still a couple of sites out there that cater to married people that in order to help them have affairs, illicit affairs. I don't know why these people need any treatment. I don't know what they're being treated for. Except other than the fact that they're now overseas and they can easily slip into a Roman Polanski type of a lifestyle if they're charged anywhere else for anything. In New York City is looking to possibly charge Harvey Weinstein, so he's going to be moving in with Roman Polanski. By the way, speaking of Roman Polanski, evidently there are another 5 women have come out and accused Roman Polanski of sexually abusing them. What are we up to now? 15, 20? That have accused, and yet the left still thinks that he's a wonderful director and a wonderful man. Just unbelievable. I don't know who else is going to be leaving these shores to go get some sort of sexual addiction treatment. I don't know who's next. Everybody's asking that question. I'm asking that question. Who's next out of Hollywood? Who do you think? Maybe we should do a contest and run a bet to to see who's next.
It was just another quiet Saturday at the Johnson home.
Honey, have you seen the hammer?
It's in the garage.
Oh, no, not the garage.
Later that same day...
Dad, I can't find the bicycle pump.
Son, I'm afraid it's in the garage.
The garage?
Then the following Tuesday...
Howard, where's the car?
It's in the garage.
Does your garage look like a giant yard sale without the yard? Do you cringe at the thought of entering your garage? Then you need Crest Garage Cabinets. With one phone call, those wonderful folks at Crest will come out to your home, design the best combination of cabinets for you, and install them quickly and professionally before your very eyes.
It's a miracle.
And unlike other companies who ask for a down payment or money up front, you won't pay a penny until your Crest cabinets are installed to your satisfaction. So call Crest today, toll-free at 1-800-548-2848. That's 1-800-548-2848. And you'll never fear going into your garage again.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine. It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better, at nih.gov.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Indeed, this is hour number 3, the fastest 3 hours on Internet Talk Radio. He's right here on the Rod Eccles Show. Thanks for tuning in. We've got a report here. Breaking news coming in. Texas Christian University gunman. Evidently, students are there's a campus lockdown in process. Students are told to seek shelter as an armed man is on campus. Police are saying that one shuttle bus driver shot at another shuttle bus driver. So it's not actually it doesn't appear to be an active terrorist type of active shooting. Well, why would a shuttle bus driver shoot at another one? I mean, is there shuttle bus transfer anxiety going on out there or something? But anyway, this is from the independent.co. .uk. Students at Texas Christian University were warned to seek shelter amid reports of an armed man on campus. Armed person on campus, seek safe shelter immediately, the university's Twitter account said. Now, students received text messages and phone calls telling them to seek shelter as alarms sounded on campus. Do they air raid? What do we have? Air raid sirens or like warnings now on campuses or campi across the country? Is that what we've been reduced to? Seriously. I mean, are we gonna have to institute and install like active shooter warning systems across the country now? I mean, we've got a whole air raid warning system in place. So we're gonna have to put in. I'm only being half facetious here, folks. I mean, think about this. We've got a bunch of nut jobs running around that should not have guns, that legally cannot have guns. Most of them tend to be liberal nut jobs themselves, running around attacking people because they don't like their politics. And what you have is a bunch of people who are in politics, who are left-wing nut jobs, who are encouraging these people, these unstable nut jobs, to go out and do that. Hey, remember Barack Obama? Well, if they bring a knife, we bring a gun. I thought you didn't like guns. So we have all these people on the left who keep telling us that you keep telling your own people to go out and bash conservatives. Hey, it's quite all right if Antifa goes out there and breaks shit. They riot. And then we're going to get all up in arms when somebody shoots somebody else? Oh yeah, you got people like idiot people like what's her face, Chelsea Handler, saying that the recent Texas church shooter, oh yeah, he was a Republican. Comes to find out he's flirting with Islam. He claims to be an atheist, calls Christians stupid, and he's a registered Democrat. But Chelsea Handler gets out there and says, oh yeah, well he's a Republican. I mean, come on. Do we now need some sort of active shooter air raid warning system? This is getting ridiculous. While liberal Democrats are running around talking about gun control, not a single damn law that is on the books or that they do propose would have prevented not one single mass murder. Not one. Because before they even committed murder, all these mass shooters committed illegal acts all over the place. They broke a ton of laws. Did those laws that are already in the book stop them? Oh, no. And last time I checked, murder is still against the law, but do people still commit murder? Yeah. Do people commit murder with other weapons other than a firearm? Yeah. I think as far as murder weapons go, I think if you take out the mass shooting aspect, I think hammers are more dangerous than guns. So in any case, it looks like now it's hard to get confirmation. Our lamestream media isn't reporting this. It's hard to get confirmation. I have to go offshore. This is damn ridiculous that I have to go to France or Britain in order to get news of what's happening in the US of A. I wish I was making this up, folks, but I'm not making it up. It's just it's absolutely bewildering. Texas Christian University, as of 9 a.m., which would be 10 a.m., about an hour ago, lockdown remains in place. A suspect, a black male, white shirt, black pants, driving Texas Christian University shuttle bus. And they give the shuttle bus number 24171. This is redonkulous. It's not funny, but it is. Why the? This is like watching a movie. I'm serious. You think you're watching it? Nobody shoots at anybody. A shuttle bus driver shooting at another shuttle bus driver. What was he mad that he picked up too many students or what? Did he cut him off? I don't know. In any case, that's what you got, folks, down in Texas. You got another shooting in Texas, evidently, but it doesn't say there are no reports of anybody being injured or killed. Thank God for that. But I'm sure there are many liberals that are disappointed and upset about that because they could use this. See, we need gun control. We need to take guns out of everybody's hands because nobody can handle. That's their ultimate goal, folks. Don't doubt me. Their ultimate goal is to take your gun away. Period. Look, they've done it in Britain and in Australia. So don't say that they can't do it here. Well, we got the Second Amendment. Oh, big freaking hairy deal. Do you know how some states have interpreted the Second Amendment? Oh, we're going to make it nearly impossible for you to get a handgun. You can still get one, but you got to jump through all kinds of hoops. Massachusetts is a perfect example. You got to jump through all kinds of hoops in order to get a gun permit in Massachusetts. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, legally they can say, well, no, we didn't ban guns because that would be anti-constitution. That'd be unconstitutional. But we can restrict them. You can still get one. You can still get a gun, but you got to meet all our demands first. So, just ridiculous. Anyway. We're Disney, by the way. This is more sex scandal stuff, by the way. Now this is pretty hilarious. Disney, well, 20th Century Fox, 21st Century Fox, I guess, is in talks with Disney to sell most of its operation to Disney. I hope that doesn't happen. I really hope. But anyway, Disney blackout of LA Times triggers a boycott from other media outlets. The left turning on itself. Disney. They're turning on Disney. Probably one of the most godless movie studios on the planet right now. Yes, Disney. And I don't know how many times we've seen stuff that these people have done on purpose, put in anime. I mean, just disgusting. And nobody's ever denied any of this stuff. Nobody from Disney's ever denied. Have you noticed that? You got people out there who are pointing out some of this disgusting sexual innuendo stuff that's drawn into Disney animation feature films. And nobody from Disney has ever denied any of it. Can you believe this? It's you can't even take your kid to a Disney movie without supporting what seems to be you're supporting Satan at the moment. But Disney blackout of LA Times triggers boycott from media outlets. Several journalists say they would no longer attend Disney preview screenings until the company allowed the Los Angeles Times access after reporting a dispute. Now, evidently, Disney has ignited a media roasting after blacklisting the LA Times from film screenings to punish the paper for critical coverage of its business operations. Now, does anybody remember when Trump said that he was going to ban CNN from the press briefing room? Everybody went nuts. You heard it everywhere. This is the first I'm hearing of this. Disney gets mad at the LA Times for giving bad coverage of its business operations. Well, its business operations have known to be rather suspect for years now. This is nothing new. This is why I have no plans of going to any Disney park anytime soon. There are people, Disney's of the devil. Remember that Waterboy? Waterboy's mama, Bobby Boucher? Bobby Boucher, you're not going to play that foosball. That's of the devil. Well, Disney evidently has a lot of evil stuff going on in there. I don't know. But the studio last week banned the LA Times from access to its screenings and talent, citing bias and inaccurate coverage, only to trigger a small boycott on Monday by several media outlets in solidarity with the LA Times. Did Disney piss off somebody at the LA Times? Is that what happened? You gotta dig into this, I think, a little bit further to find out why. But as long as Disney is blocking the critics from the Los Angeles Times from press screenings, I can't in good conscience attend similar showings or write reviews in advance. Said so. Oh my goodness, this is well. Said Alyssa Rosenberg. Now, she writes about films and pop culture for the Washington Post, and she was the first to announce that she would no longer attend screenings presented by Disney films, including Star Wars or subsidiary. Disney's just buying up everything. They're becoming industry. Well, they are an industry juggernaut. And there are Star Wars, the Muppets belong to Disney. The Toy Story belongs to Disney. That was Pixar, but now that belongs to Disney. It's just it's amazing. They're a juggernaut, and people keep this is how corporate juggernauts and giants are invented. They just buy up other people. And it's not that they forcefully buy people. I mean, people just offer them. And they have the money, so they say, "Yeah, I'm gonna be rich, a wealthy miser." And this is what they do. This is how companies get big. And then somebody looks around and says, "No, they're too big for their britches, or they need to be broken up." Why? People willingly sold them. In most cases, now in some cases there's a little bit of bullying going on, sure. But and there are a little bit of a hostility or hostile takeover, but in most cases they willingly sell out. Why? Because the person selling is going to make $1 bazillion. That's what it's all about. It's business. Nothing personal. I mean, honestly. The Los Angeles Film Critics Association, the New York Film Critics Circle, the Boston Society of Film Critics, and the National Society of Film Critics jointly announced that they would take the extraordinary step of disqualifying Disney films from end-of-year awards consideration until the blackout. Who are all these? So Disney could have a good movie, but you're not going to give them the award because they. So you're going to give. So in other words, you're not giving out awards to what you believe is the best. You're giving out awards to those who you politically agree with. That's why I don't watch any of these award shows. It's not about what is actually best. It's about who gets promoted better, right? I think that's the way it works.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Well, at least as far as I know, Disney isn't suffering from any sexual harassment claims or charges. No executive yet that I know of. However, Amazon is not as lucky. Amazon, the river, is getting into all, well, like Disney, without buying up companies, although they have bought a few, but without buying up tons and tons of companies, they're like Apple. They're just getting into everything. I don't know how you go from books to just selling books, new and used books, to being this tremendous retail online juggernaut. It's amazing. In a short half a lifetime. Really, I mean, what did 94 somewhere around there is when Amazon really started, but the internet came on, and like 98 is when it started to really, in 98 and 2000 it really started to take. I mean, it's what, 20, 30, less than 30 years to go from basically nothing, just concept, to bazillions of dollars in sales and value and net worth all over the place, and just getting into well, now you got Amazon Studios, right? Well, Roy Price, who was the former chairman of Amazon Studios, resigned abruptly last month in October because of details emerging of alleged incidents of sexual harassment on his part. And since then, Amazon and Bezos, however you pronounce his name, has been on a tear, and three of Price's so-called top lieutenants have either been fired or have resigned. And so you got to wonder, where is this going to end? Where is all this sexual? Now, Amazon is Bezos is famously liberal. Much like Steyer and some of these other, billionaires. But you got to wonder where all of this stuff is going to end. When is it going to? It's ensnaring nothing but liberals, by the way. This whole mess behind all the sexual harassment stuff, the sexual innuendo, the illegal sexual advances and abuse and all that. This is all those who are being called out right now. They're all liberals. They're all Democrats. And yet we're supposed to still follow them. We're supposed to still spend our money on movies with them in it or being produced by them. We're supposed to still listen to their music. All of these liberals. And they're trying to blame Republicans for this stuff. We have nothing to do with this. We've been warning people of what's been going on in Hollywood and that their tentacles have been stretching out across the country. Now the silence has finally been broken. Nobody listened to conservatives all these years. Now and all these liberals, other liberals, knew a lot of this stuff was going on, but turned their head down. Just like what Corey Feldman said on Hannah the other day. There are so many people that know what's going on and know what's been happening for decades, and everybody keeps their damn mouth shut. Because they're all liberals. And usually when a liberal gets caught, like Roman Polanski, you get a bunch of liberals that come to their defense. Oh, he really didn't mean it. He's still a wonderful guy. He's just so beautiful, makes beautiful movies. Blah, 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 blah. It's a bunch of liberals. Conservatives are not involved in any of this crap. And we're just supposed to sit here and take it or think, oh, well, now we're doing something about it. You've known about this for years. You're acting like this is something new. This is not new. This is why when people ask the question, well, who's next? Who cares? Who cares who's going to be outed next? They all should be outed now, not next. They've created this atmosphere of hostility in the industry. And they blame Republicans for this stuff. We're not in charge. Republicans are not in charge of this. Conservatives are not in charge of Hollywood. As a matter of fact, if you're a conservative in Hollywood, you're lucky if you still get work. If you still get cast because you're always ambushed. Remember the Tom Selleck, Rosie O'Donnell famous ambush? And come on, that happens to conservatives all the time. There aren't many conservative actors out there in Hollywood or conservative executives at Hollywood studios. This is all liberal based, people. It's just plain insanity is what it is.
You might be surprised to learn who has Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Nearly 1 in 200 Americans are suffering with the debilitating pain and constant disruption of these inflammatory bowel diseases, or IBD. Chances are you know someone with IBD. For example, your neighbor or coworker. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation was created to help patients cope and to find a cure. People with IBD can't wait. Won't you help someone you know? Visit www.escapethestall.com today.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C, but most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Ah! Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Republicans in Congress are doing their best to undercut Donald Trump once again, and in the process really do damage to the American people. This comes across in the so-called tax cut legislation. Now, first of all, let me just make something very abundantly clear here. The government doesn't have to pay for a tax cut, but let's just say that you go ahead with the Democrats and say, well, we got to be able to pay for it. Well, if you don't reduce the amount of the taxes, it's not a tax cut. If you say you have to pay for it by raising taxes in other places, that's not a tax cut. I mean, that's just shuffling the shells here. Okay, we're going to lower the income tax rate here, but we're going to raise other taxes and fees over here to make up for what we're going to. No, why is it that the government, no matter what level of government it is, why is it they can never do it less? They automatically assume that you and I, no matter who we are, that we can do it, and that means the lowest of the low on the economic rung as well. Everybody pays taxes in this country. I know there are some people that don't pay federal income taxes, but everybody pays taxes. Everybody. You know, I love it when a renter says, "Well, I don't pay property tax." Bullshit, you don't. It's built into your rent. If you think that let's take for example the city of Manchester. If you think that Ted Gatsas is a contender who wanted to raise the property tax by over 4% in 1 year, if you think property owners were just going to absorb that and pay for it out of their own pocket and say, "Oh, we're all a bunch of nice people," every single one of them is going to say, "Oh, hell no, well, we're just going to have to raise our rent prices." Everybody pays taxes. And for you to sit back for any liberal or any moderate to sit back and say, "Well, we got to pay for tax cuts," is a bunch of hogwash. What they're really saying is that we're not really going to give you a tax cut because government cannot cut spending. Government can't do with less, but you sure as hell can. And if you really can't, well, too damn bad, you're going to do with less anyway because we need your money. And after all, liberals actually think that all money belongs to the government anyway, and what they let you keep is what the government is actually giving you. Oh, well, you really don't make 50 grand a year. The government makes the 50 grand. We just let you keep 30,000 of it. That's what they believe, which is why they have to, government never has to pay for anything. You got to pay for the tax cuts, Rod. You got to pay. No, you don't. It's called having a balanced budget. You know, we've got a business called iHeart, iHeart Media, that's in trouble. Why? Because they're losing money. They're running at a deficit. But since they don't print money, they can't stay in business doing this. And you get municipal governments, and we've already seen, some municipalities go bankrupt, like Detroit. They don't print money either, but they run at a deficit. They think, well, we'll just raise taxes because people can do it less, but we can't. And they don't cut their spending. They keep going, and California state is in trouble financially because they won't cut their spending. The only people that can get away with not cutting their spending, and even then they can only works for so long, is the federal government because they print the money. Nobody else can do that. So we all have to somehow learn how to do with less. But government, when it gets involved, this is, well, we're not going to do with less. You are, the individual. No, the first people that should be cutting their budgets is the government when the economy is, when it comes to the economy anyway. Cut government spending, but of course, whenever we talk about cutting government spending, where do they always go? The left always goes to the military. Oh, we could cut the military, and we hear all this heebie-jeebie crap. We spend more money on our military than any other nation in the next 100 nations combined. It's all a lie. We know China's spending hundreds of billions of dollars on their military. You don't get to upgrade the Chinese military, in the size of the Chinese, what the size of the Chinese military is. You don't upgrade it at the rate that they're upgrading and tell people and expect people to believe that they're not spending any money on their military. It's a bunch of BS. It's just ridiculous. And Trump went over to Europe and told them, hey, look, NATO, y'all better start ponying up your fair share of defense, or you're going to be in trouble. We're going to kick you out, or there's going to be some reprisals, because they weren't spending what they were supposed to be spending. So this whole notion that we have to spend what we spend because nobody else is. They expect us to do all the defense for them. It's just redonkulous. The government, our government, no government can seem to do with less, but all the citizenry of the world could do with less. And whether we like it or not, hey, we're going to raise your taxes because we need money, says the government. And you're just going to have to do with less. So that's issue number one with the Republicans and this tax cut, is that they're looking for ways to appease the Democrats and looking for ways to pay for. This is where this hidden 46%, this secret 46% tax bracket comes into play. I mean, this is the most inane thing I've ever. Oh, this is a tax cut for the rich, the Democrats say. How is it a tax cut for the rich when the rich are being soaked? They're not getting a cut. Not at all. They have to they're making up for everybody else getting a cut. This 46% level is just a proof of that. It's proof of concept. We're being fed a bill of goods again. Oh, we're gonna give you a tax cut. Mr. President, I'm sorry, I don't see the massive tax cut for the American people by Christmas, because the Republicans don't want to give you any success whatsoever. Even when you're willing to compromise and negotiate, they're not willing to do so. Do people not understand this? Donald Trump is all about the win-win. As long as he wins, it doesn't matter if anybody else wins. It's a win-win as long as he wins. And he's doing his damnedest to put forth that agenda, his win-win, for the American people, because that's the side he's working on. And he's willing to do just about anything. And these people aren't even willing whether they be Republicans or Democrats, they're not. In other words, they're not in it for you. They're not in it for you to win it. They're in it for themselves, and they're in it to even at your detriment, to bring down Donald Trump. If they make Donald Trump a failure, they do not care if it bankrupts the American people, so long as they get rid of Donald Trump. They don't care. This tax bill and tax proposal is proof of concept of what I'm telling you. You're like, it's going to be a huge tax cut. And then all of a sudden we start seeing all these different income brackets come back into play. I thought we were supposed, if they really wanted to cut taxes, if they really wanted to simplify the tax code, they'd get rid of the income tax altogether, for one. But let's say they don't. It would be a flat tax. A flat income tax of 10% across the board. After all, if God only asked for 10%, why would the government need more than that? It doesn't. The reality is our government doesn't. But if everybody is paying 10%, and yes, a person who earns $1 million at $10 million a year at 10% is paying more in income taxes than a person who earns $50,000 at 10%, or a person who earns $10,000 at 10%. Everybody should be paying. I don't care how little you earn. This is your government too. You're taking from it, you're utilizing, you're benefiting from it. We all should kick in what we can. So if you go to a flat tax at 10%, the millionaire is paying $100,000 of his income in taxes. No deductions. No deductions. Screw all this deduction crap. 10%. Millionaire, $1 million, pays $100,000. $50,000 a year, you pay $5,000. $10,000 a year, but you pay $100 a grand, whatever. Just flat out. No more of these deductions. No more of these specialties. That's fair. Everybody pays into the system at the same rate, the same rate, the same rate. Those who earn more are going to pay more. That's fair. They're not going to pay at a higher rate. They're just going to pay more. But this is not about making it simple for you. It's not about actually being real for you. I know there are people who have put the flat tax and the fair tax and all that kind of stuff. And I've seen the last time I saw a flat tax, it was 17%, and there was a sales tax at 17%. I'm like, give me a freaking break. God Almighty only asked for 10%. We've got 300 million people in this country. At least half of them are working adults. They all earn trillions of dollars a year. At 10% is plenty for the government to be funded if you get rid of unnecessary spending. And that still leaves room for your state government to get their necessary tax revenue from you. You don't need to add all these hidden fees and all that kind of crap. You can cut out all the other crap. Our federal government once only operated by excise taxes and other import types of duties and taxes. They didn't have an income tax because they didn't overspend. That's why. And I don't see anything from the Republicans that are saying they want to significantly cut federal spending or significantly cut the size of the federal government. That's what they need to be doing. They need to be taking a hatchet to the budget. Not with the military. You leave the military alone. Anything that has to do with the military, you leave it alone. Everything else. Do you realize that if we got rid of all this wasteful spending, we could pay for all our road and bridge repairs and upgrades and infrastructure repairs and upgrades that we need to do over the next 10 years? We'd have a beautiful, brand new, spanking new country as far as infrastructure is concerned. If we got rid of all this ridiculous, stupid, mamby-pamby spending that should be done at the state and local level in the first place, not at the federal level. I mean, it's out of hand. It's maddening, it's disgusting, and it's evil to take people's money that way. I don't care if you earn $1,000 a year or $1 million a year or $100 million a year. If you do it legally, you earned it. It's yours. You should not have to defend yourself against people who are jealous of you, which is all this class warfare stuff is anyways. It's just a bunch of people who are envious. And the Republicans are falling right into line with the Democrat mantra because why? Because they don't like Trump. Well, get over it already. Enough of the American people, 31 states voted for Trump? He won more counties across the country than anybody else since Ronald Reagan? I think the American people pretty much spoke who they wanted to be president. It's not up to you so-called elitists to decide that we made a mistake. Too damn bad if you don't like it. Hey, you better fix this shit right now. I'm not kidding. Hey, you better fix this. Go crawl back under your rock. It's just redonkulous, folks.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Tax battle will continue on, and the Republicans will continue to fight their own president. I mean, if the Republicans actually meant what they said about wanting to cut taxes, to get rid of Obamacare, to repeal Obamacare, to do a bunch of other things that they keep promising us. This is the time to do it. They have the House, they have a Senate, and they have a more than willing president. Do you realize the good that could be done for the American people if the Republican Party just got off their ass, got over their defeat? They don't have to embrace President Trump. They don't have to embrace him. They just have to fulfill their own promises. It has nothing to do with... Understand this. This has nothing to do with Trump other than the fact that they hate him. I get that. But what I'm talking about and what I'm saying here is that what Trump is proposing and wants to get done is really nothing different than most Republicans have kept promising us for decades. This is supposedly what they want too. They wanted to get rid of Obamacare. That's what they told us. They had more that they have the perfect. They tried for years since it was instituted. They couldn't do it because they didn't have the power, and the president wouldn't sign it, and they didn't have enough votes to override the veto. Blah 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 blah. So now they have all the power, and they can't get it done. Oh, we need to give the American people some tax relief. We need to simplify the tax code. We need to put money back in the private sector. Cut government spending, and now they have the ability to do so, and they don't do it. They have all of this potential now that they've promised us for years that they wanted to do. You give us the power, we'll do it. We promise. Blah 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 blah. I mean, it sounds like Dracula. If you allow us to suck you dry, we'll suck you dry in a nicer way than the Democrats will. Basically, what they've been telling us is they've been lying to us all this time. Because they haven't acted on anything. If they were really honest and sincere about what they said in the past and promised in the past, none of them would be retiring. They would all be shoo-ins for re-election when they come up. And we'd be able to get so much done and return power back to the states and the people and reduce taxes and bring government under control and shrink it and all that wonderful stuff. We could do it in one fell swoop. But no. They'd rather fight against the American people. And really, that's exactly what they're doing. Donald Trump is the fall guy here, but that's what they're doing. You people are the ones that voted for Trump. You're the ones saying that this is what we want done, and they're fighting against you. And you're going to reelect them today and this time next year? You shouldn't. Because if you do, then don't complain about what you get, the outcome. Seriously. Speaking of which, go out and vote today, folks. You need to get out there and vote because, it's your civic duty. You need to figure out exactly what it is. By the way, we didn't hit on Mueller today. We'll try to get to that tomorrow. Mueller should he be he should be quaking in his boots. Actually, no, he shouldn't be quaking in his boots. He should be fired. And we should be appointing other special prosecutors. We shouldn't even have special prosecutors. We should just have the Department of Justice and the Attorney General do their damn jobs. And go after Mueller and Clinton and everybody else who's broken the law. It's not that hard to do, really. You don't need special prosecutors to do that. You really don't. But, evidently that's the way that we've got to go. We've got to get special prosecutors for everything. By the way, Paul Ryan says that the Obamacare mandate repeal is on the table in tax debate. Again, it's on the table. Everything's on the table. It's on the chopping block. Everything's on the chopping block. So we didn't get to that today. And plus, 5 more women come forward to accuse disgraced movie mogul Roman Polanski. The Democrats are going to struggle in 2018 by trying to avoid fighting a culture war with the GOP because they've lost the culture war. The Americans are turning off. Well, obviously, Hollywood is in turmoil. Their biggest backer out there is in big trouble. So they're in turmoil. It's not going to be easy for them, not at all. But in any case, it is what it is. It is what it is. Well, folks, that sound means that we're out of time for today, but we will be back here tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Tomorrow is Intel Report Day. We got some big news, big stuff happening on the Intel Report. Breaking news, it looks like a prince from Saudi Arabia has escaped to Iran. Saudi Arabia's nemesis. Could war be not too far behind? Well, I'm sure that we'll get a report on that and what's going on tomorrow, plus a whole lot more and stuff that we didn't cover today, plus new stuff that happens. So tune in, folks. Have a wonderful Tuesday afternoon. I'll see you here tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.